For purposes of knowing ourselves, I would request that we take 1 minute introducing ourselves. This is very important. Let us introduce ourselves. I already did. So I don't know whether we start from behind or we start from front, but let's start from behind for the first time. The backbenchers have taken it. I think we can start with this. Everyone in the house. Actually, we'll be happy to know everyone in the house. We don't want strangers. You know, the drone always moves around. You never know. Can have someone who came with a drone and they take us unaware. So let's start with the introduction. Very fast. Good morning. I think we are here.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Faraja Africa. I work with the Center for Policy Analysis. Thank you.
I hope we have all introduced ourselves. Is there anyone missing? No. So, amid this task, I take this opportunity to welcome the speaker, Kabarole District. Speaker Tukaso, Kabarole District. You're most welcome, sir. I want us to take our agenda very fast. I'm going to invite us to stand for the anthems. We are going to have the national anthem, East African anthem. I'll expect someone from here to also lead us in the Obukama Watoro anthem. We are going to take one stanza on each. So please, let's keep time. God uphold thee, we lay our future in thy hand. United, free for liberty, together we always stand. Mungu tuomba ujilinde, Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize ya malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tujilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, jumuiya yetu. Boniface, you can lead us. Wetu wauta ya toro. Waitu watunji That is a challenge. We need to learn these things. Before we sit, if you know the Holy Spirit has led you, please lead us in a word of prayer.
Let's pray. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Mighty Father, King of Kings, Lord of Glory, we pray for victory in all this. I pray this in Jesus' name.
We can take our seats. So members, I welcome you once again to this third regional youth parliament, which we are having here today, the 22nd of June 2022. Once again, my name is Mumbere Godson. I already introduced myself, but it is important that we keep on introducing ourselves. And as we'll be continuing to speak, every time you stand and you're given a microphone, I'll ask you to reintroduce yourself. Because we have online participants, they really need to capture our names properly. So let me take this opportunity to officially welcome you as a convener. I'm not in this engagement alone. We are working in partnership with the Rejoice Foundation Uganda as conveners of the regional youth parliaments. But we thank so much Faraja Africa Foundation, the Parliament of Uganda, Action Aid Uganda, GIZ, and other organizations who have CYIPEL on board, and other like-minded organizations that have come forward to see that young people are given the opportunity to take lead in the agenda of this country. It is not common that young people are given a platform. We are very grateful that the organizations that are on board have given us the opportunity as young people to always express ourselves. Speaker, sir, this is our third time holding such an event in Fort Portal City. I remember the first time we were in this very room and we had the DCDO as the guest that time. The second time we were in Boma. I forgot the name of the venue, but we were in Boma, Toro Botanical Garden. And this is the third. And we had the RDC, Kabarole, who was the speaker for us that day. And today, the third national parliament, the third regional parliament, we are glad that we have you, the speaker of Kabarole district. You're most welcome. And actually, this is a timely event that we have you. Through this session that we have, one of these young persons is going to contest as a speaker to lead this session. So I believe that with your expertise, this person should also be able to learn from you, from your speech. Who should be a speaker? Eh? Right? And we are glad that you're also a young person. When I look at you, your age difference is not so much from ours, most of us here. So it's an opportunity for us that as young people, we are taking over from the old generation. And that's what we wish to achieve in the near future as young people. I've always challenged people. They have always told us that we are the leaders of tomorrow. Tomorrow is not there. We are the leaders of today. The opportunity you have is now. So if you don't use this opportunity, it is not there tomorrow. So I challenge all of us, from wherever we come from, let us always assure that whatever we do, we are doing it in ensuring that we are securing our future as young people. Yes, we need to secure ours. Nobody should secure your future for you. So we have about 5 districts. You can see the number is a bit limited, but we have a cross-section of young people. We have young people from Fort Portal City, we have from Kabarole. However, I'm somehow disappointed with some members from Kabarole. I've not yet seen some of them, yet we invited a number of them from here. I've not yet seen them, yet they are the hosts. We have Kasese, we have Bundibujo, Bunyangabu, Chenjojo, and other guys are joining us. We made sure that we pick a few young people to represent the majority of the voice outside there. So this regional youth parliament feeds into the national youth parliament. And I want to assure you that the issues that we discuss here, let us discuss them with passion, because these are issues that affect us as young people. These are issues that when you're going home, you will still be affected. These are issues that even when you get your 10,000, it may not have as much value as 5 years ago. So these are issues that really affect us. So when we discuss, when you're given an opportunity to come and speak to us, you make sure that you're passionate about what you're discussing about, because these are things that are affecting us as young people. Actually, we are not only the ones affected, even old people are also affected. But for us, we say it is worse because we don't have the jobs, we don't have the money. So we need to speak out our passion such that something can be done. So what we discussed today, the resolutions that the clerks and the speaker will be taking us through today, these are the very issues that will be represented at the national level. And when we are having the National Youth Parliament, we always have it in the parliamentary chambers with the youth MPs, then also with the Right Honorable Speaker as the presiding guest of that session. So you just know that whatever we're going to discuss here today, there are issues that will go directly to the stakeholders that have a say in ensuring that something is done. So I will not take much to welcome you, but I want to give you the courage that please, when we are having these discussions, there should be discussions that inform the future and also today. We are here on behalf of the majority young people. We have other young people online. They are also following us. So the discussion we are having here today is, for example, if you came from Bundibujo, we brought about 2 to 3 people from Bundibujo, but there are thousands of young people in that area. So your discussion here is really working, is to make sure that you have the voice of all those young people. It will be unfortunate when you come and sit here and at the end of the day you have not spoken anything. That means you will not have represented your region very well. The invitation here is on merit. Like I said earlier, Speaker Tukaso, majority of these people, I have never seen them. But I just said, I contacted some few people from different districts, and they're the ones who recommended these young people. And the reason we did that is to make sure that we have a balanced discussion. People of Fort Portal, they know what is happening in Fort Portal, so they should be able to give us the discussion. I was saying that someone whom I know very well here is Godfrey, because he's the former speaker of the previous parliament. Then also Grace, because Grace has attended she was the sergeant at arms in the previous castle. So these 2 people also happen to attend the national parliament. So they know what I'm talking about. They know what is good there and what is not good there. So let me not take too much of your time. At least I've given a preamble of why we are here today. And we are going to lead this session with my colleague, Abaho. When I'm not here, he's going to step in. When he's not there, I'm going to step in. So we are going to lead this session with him. So without taking much of the time, I'm going to invite our guests to speak to us as young people. But still, I'm aware that you'll be with us for a short time. After your remarks, I'll request that you stay with us for like more extra 5 minutes, because we are going to have an official picture, just one picture that we'd love to take with you. Thereafter, we are going to have the elections of the speaker. who's going to lead us through this session? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So let me take this opportunity to welcome you and speak to us as young people from the region. You're most welcome.
Good morning, everyone. I'm called Timothy Rwenzori is my name. I'm the district speaker, Kabarole. I'm sorry I will not follow up all the protocols because I did not capture well who is here and who is not. Only that a few for Center for Policy Analysis, Mr. Abaho, Faraja Africa Foundation, our dear participants in this parliament, the third parliament. You are most welcome to Fort Portland, to Kabarole at large. My journey to being a district speaker started as a youth leader. So I was in the youth council of Kabarole in the first place. You know, those ones begin from village, parish, sub-county to the district. Thereafter, I joined the council as a youth councillor. That is the previous term. I was the youth councillor. And now I represent a certain sub-county that you have always heard the president talk about. You know that sub-county? Yes. Do you know the name of that sub-county? For you, you're from here. Me, I wanted it here. I wanted it here from another person that is not from within. So the president has always talked about Rwenzori model sub-county. So it's the sub-county that I do represent in the district council. And in the district council, I battled around to become the district speaker. So here I am as a district speaker and a young person as well. And I think I'm one of the youngest speakers in this country. If I'm not alone, there must be another person. One, I'm glad that I'm invited to this parliament to talk with you as young people about the inclusion, the participation, the meaningful youth participation. That one is key. Meaningful youth participation in all the decision making, policy making, and in this country, the youth, we are about 78% of the population of this country. That means in every sector, there must be youth. There must be a youth. Whether in the ministries, the key ministries like health, education, finance, there must be a youth. And you being there, you must participate. Your participation must be useful, must be recognized. But how can it be recognized when you have not positioned yourself? As youth, we are encouraged to position ourselves. How do we position ourselves? We position ourselves by tapping each and every opportunity that comes across. It is our chance that we tap out each and every opportunity that comes. In most of the youth, they are selective in jobs. There are those ones who like white-collar jobs. There are those ones who love agricultural jobs. But the largest population, the largest percentage has gone as far as white-collar jobs is concerned, and of which they are not there as well. So as youth, we are encouraged to be job creators, not seekers. This is one of the reasons why this youth parliament is coming down. To find out solutions, to find out policies that can help us as young people in this country. A policy that can favor a youth develop. If, as youth, we can fail to develop policies that can favor us, there is no one who can do that. We have seen the rise of the commodities now. There are no policies to guard us. Everyone raises a price as his own will. But as a country, we are supposed to have a policy that governs or has a price reserve policy. That if we are to sell petrol, it should not exceed this and should not go down below this. Those are the policies that we want in this country, but they are not there. So it's my wish that as Youth Parliament, we also come up with such proposed policies to present to Parliament. You move from one station of petrol station, 1 liter is at 6,000. Another petrol station is at 7,000. In the same country, and all people are selling. And the government is watching. Last time in Hoima, they sold 1 liter at 10,000. And that's where we hear that there is oil. 10,000. So the conveners of this and the whole gathering here, it's my appeal that we should also include this in some of the motions that I've seen, can be part of it, that we get a policy to govern these prices that we have in this country. That is the policy that can help each and every Ugandan. Most of the businesses that are coming up in this country are for the young people. The convener has clearly stated that we are taking on from the old generation to the new generation. They used to tell us tomorrow it's for you young people, but there is no tomorrow for the young people. It is today and it's now. It is today and it's now. So it is our time to position ourselves well. Most young people do neglect education. Education is key as well. You've heard of the science teachers, the arts teachers. The salary increment has caused a lot of problems, a lot of talks in the country. The art teacher earns 700. The science teacher, 4 million. You can see the range now. More like either doubled, tripled, I cannot say. It was increased by 300%. You see? This art teacher also went to a class like a science teacher did. They also teach the same class. Same school fees that they paid. But you pick yes. Do you think that school will get harmony? Will those teachers sit together in the staff room? Remember, you have an OB, you have an OG that you went to the same school. You ate the same portion. He's earning 700, you're earning 4 million. And you're all teachers. You're all called teachers in the school compound. You all have families to look after. So those are the things now we have to look into as the Parliament of the Youth. If you don't come up with this, there is no one else that will come up with that. We have seen institutions like schools now. Each school pays its own fees. These are effects on the younger people. Each school has its own tuition standard. A nursery school pays 400 in this era, but in the past they would not pay all that. Yes, the 400 will be for the whole family to go to school, but this time it's for a single kid who is 3 years. 400. That is a private school. And the government says, if you don't have what to sell, please ignore. Let those who have. If you follow bread, take cassava. That's what the president did. So should we also keep quiet and we take our cassava? I think this is the reason as to why we are here today. So it's my appeal that when we are in the time of deliberations, let's be focused. Let's be focused on the issues that affect the young people. We have got followers behind us. We are not here by accident. We have trust of the many people behind us. So let's respect that trust. Let's concretize on the trust that we have to make good policies that can be submitted to the top parliament of the country to deliberate on. It is good that the country also recognized that younger people must be represented in the parliament, and they are there. But in the last performance report, we saw some other young MPs also in the worst performing MPs. Yeah? So it was a challenge. It was a challenge. Why? Maybe they don't come to such parliaments. When I was still in the youth leadership, I also attended some other 2 regional parliaments, like this one. And by that time, we had Mwine Mpaka as our MP. At least something was done there. I'm not saying that these ones who are there, they're not working. They're also working. You know, in the parliament, you can work when you are in a committee, you can talk. If you fail to talk on the floor of parliament, you can write to the speaker. You have also participated, but you are not known whether your people have seen you participate on the floor of parliament. So those 3 channels can facilitate you deliver what you want to deliver. But I don't know why do you fail on all the 3 channels to deliver on the floor of parliament. You can write to the speaker. You can attend a committee and do what you want to do. You can talk on the floor of parliament. So all the 3 channels you have not surfaced anywhere. So are you a meaningful youth participant in that parliament? Likewise here, I expect everyone to participate. Yes? That's why you're here. On the agenda, I have not seen the previous minutes of the last sitting. What happened if you sat? What were the recommendations you came up with? And what happened after getting them? So I would expect to get the feedback on what you discussed last parliament, the recommendations you came up with when you took them to where you were supposed to take them. What happened? Were they attended to? Other than sitting here for the whole day, you get recommendations and you don't get the feedback. You get me? So the feedback I would feed in courage to the participants here today, to say that when last parliament sat, they discussed this and it was attended like this. You get me? So that one would give courage to the participants also to develop some other issues or proposed policies that can be attended to. But if they are not attended to, there is no feedback, then why do we keep on sitting here? So it is my wish that in the next sitting, so the next sitting will be called the 4th sitting, so we expect a feedback of what shall have been discussed today and how they are being attended to. So with that, I think I would wish you nice deliberations, nice discussions, and a nice stay in the city. We are in Fort Portal City, the tourism city. I don't know whether you have seen some tourist attractions around, but they are in Kabarole district, only that the tourism backs Kabarole district. So if you want to see more of the tourism, please come to Kabarole district. I wish you well. Please stay well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our speaker. I'm not going to be here for any long time. I'm going to invite my colleague Abaho to come and respond to the previous year's resolutions, as also taking up from there, and we go for the nomination and election of the speaker.
Good morning once again. My name is Brighton Abaho. I work with the Center for Policy Analysis. Center for Policy Analysis is a progressive regional non-profit policy think tank, which was established in 2012, and we work in regards to ensure that we fill the gap that has always existed in research, policy formulation, and practice. Because the moment you formulate a policy, you need that policy to be implemented and thereby a practice. An example, when the parish involvement model came into place, it is a policy. It has been formulated and now it is going to be implemented. So the Center for Policy Analysis, one of the things that we do is we aim to influence change and involvement by contributing to public policy making processes through research, innovation, and critical analysis. And how are we able to do that? We are able to do that through our different programs, and our different programs that we do include, in one of our programs, the Civic Engagement Program, we have a program called Parliament Watch. I do not know any one of you has had anything called Parliament Watch. Those of you on social media, have you seen Parliament Watch? Or if you've checked, a website or something. But Parliament Watch is a program that is implemented by the Center for Policy Analysis. And one of the things that Parliament Watch does is to ensure that there is straight communication or collaboration with the public. We ensure that we extend Parliament to the people. Because one of the things we realize that a lot is always happening in Parliament, and the people must know what is happening at Parliament. Personally, I spend 75% of my time at the Parliament chambers because of the work that I do to ensure that we extend Parliament closer to the people. And how are we able to do that? We are able to do that through the use of, through research, critical analysis, and through the use of the digital platforms where we are able to disseminate information to the people. For example, previously Parliament was not able to give updates of what is happening at Parliament, either in committees or during plenary. But when Parliament Watch started this initiative of relaying live updates of what is happening in Parliament, if you've been following the Parliament Watch, Twitter and Facebook, you should be able to have seen that we relay what is happening live in Parliament. And that is one of our objectives, is to ensure that people are aware of what is happening there. And through that, we also work with the different radio stations with whom we share information of what has happened in Parliament on a daily basis, such that the radio stations in the different regions are able to actually give the people what has happened to Parliament. For example, in Kawarore here, we work with Voice of Toro, that we share information with, such that people are able to know a certain report has been passed, has been debated, every other thing that happens in the House. So that is our role as Parliament Watch and as Center for Policy Analysis. Back to the National Youth Parliament. The National Youth Parliament is an advocacy platform that was started in 2018 to ensure that they create a platform where young people can come, deliberate on the issues that they have in their communities. And I remember in 2018 and 2019, we had started with, we would only have the National Youth Parliament that was always at the Parliament chambers. But as time went by, we realized that there was need for us to have this decentralized or taken to the grassroots. And that is why we had to come up with the regional youth parliaments. And that started in 2020, where we had the first regional youth parliaments. And I will tell you that we have come, we started with Masaka. We were in Bara yesterday. Today we are in the Rwenzori region. we shall be in Arua in West Nile, we shall be in Gulu, Nango, we shall be in the east in Mbale, and then we shall be in Busoga, in Jinja for the Busoga sub-region. So we ensure that we make sure that the ideas or the issues of the young people are brought to, or the young people are able to participate in the policy making processes. Because the issues that we actually pick here are the issues, they are drafted as resolutions, and they are presented as in one petition to the Parliament of Uganda. And to those of you who attended the last National Youth Parliament at Parliament, the late Right Honorable Jacob Olanya, you remember his statement. He was very clear that there is no issue of the young people that will come to the Speaker's office and will not be attended to. And he started by talking about the reason as to why the National Youth Parliament is very important. And the issues of the young people that were raised in that house, some of them are being worked on. I'll start with one. When we came here in the Rwenzori region, one of the issues that was raised was the aspect of teenage pregnancies that was all over in Kasese, in the whole region, as a result of COVID-19, where we had a lockdown and very many teenage girls had, and one of the worries was that we were likely not to have the teenage girls return to school. When that motion was discussed in the National Youth Parliament, the same motion was brought by the Vice President of Uganda, Her Excellency Jessica Alupo, who presented the same to the House. And they gave a background that the young people presented this in the House. This was debated in the House, and one of the resolutions that were made was there was need to ensure that the teenage girls return back to school. And this actually prompted the Ministry of Education to revise its guidelines, where we had to see the ministry roll out new guidelines on how teenage pregnancies, the teenage mothers can be integrated back to schools. And haven't we seen the teenage mothers integrated back to the schools when the schools reopened? Weren't they? Exactly. That is one of the things that we were championing. If you have heard about something called the minimum wage graduate scheme bill, these are things that have been championed by the National Youth Parliament. The minimum wage, which actually prompted in the 10th Parliament, Honorable Mwine Mpaka sought leave of Parliament to present a private member's bill, which was the minimum wage bill, which he presented, passed by Parliament. However, when it reached the President refused to assent to it on the basis that the minimum wage bill would discourage investors in the country. But it is a conversation that is ongoing. It doesn't mean that this stopped. It didn't stop. The same thing happened with the graduate scheme bill. After we had gathered information all around the country, the graduate scheme bill was also presented, and it is a conversation that is coming on, because the aim of the graduate scheme bill is to ensure that the many young people who graduate from different universities are placed in the different government institutions for 1 year on internship basis. And during that internship, they are given an opportunity for them to learn and get experience. Because every other time we are applying for jobs, they ask us, what is your experience? Can you get experience when you've never worked? So one of our ideas was that if we are able to get this internship for graduates, they would be able to get that skill, to get the skills on job, and then some of them would actually be retained such that they can be able to get employment elsewhere. There are very many things that we have actually moved as the National Youth Parliament that has championed, and one of them, it is in regard to we are requesting the parish government model secretariat to ring fence 30% for young people. That is after all the youth programs were scrapped. You remember the Youth Livelihood Fund and the Youth Capital Venture Fund were all scrapped. So when they are scrapped, we said, okay, if the president and the cabinet has decided that we are going to have one pool of resources, can we ring fence 30% for the young people? What was the explanation? The explanation is that we have 75% of the population who are the young people. Why can't they ring fence at least 30% for them to actually benefit? This thing has actually come out in the guidelines that were rolled out by the Ministry of Gender. However, we still have something that we need to discuss on how this can actually be actualized. But the good thing is that there is progress, because with advocacy, you're not going to engage once and then you get results. But these are engagements that are going on with the National Youth Council, the Uganda Parliamentary Forum on Youth Affairs, the Uganda National Students Association, and the different civil society organizations, to ensure that the young people can actually be a part in the implementation and the monitoring of the parish involvement model. So these are the things that we have been, he actually asked, how do we get solutions to these things that we suggest? Yes, we are getting solutions, many of them. Another thing that I probably did not talk about is in 2020, when we were going for elections, you remember in the Local Government Act that was saying that young people below the age of 35 could not actually compete for position of chairperson LC5? You remember? It is one thing that we actually championed as the National Youth Parliament. We took this to the Speaker, the Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga. An amendment was suggested, and we had this amendment in 2020, and in 2021 elections, we saw very many young people. The last time we had someone from who was the LC5 chairperson, young person below the age of 35. Wasn't that a success? That is the beginning. We have very many young people right now. Then you could not even have a councillor, LC5 councillor, young person below the age of 35 contest. But because of that amendment, now we are able to have young people below the age of 35 also occupying the position LC5 councillor, LC5 chairperson. That is the progress. And it is one of the things that we actually championed as the National Youth Parliament, working together with the different stakeholders. So, when we come to this place, we do not come, I will always say this, we do not come here to sit, eat, or do what, wait for transport refund. We come here to seek for your views. And I'll tell you for a fact that the different views from the National Youth Parliaments were some of the views that were used in the coming up of the National Youth Manifesto. I don't know whether you have heard about the National Youth Manifesto, but it is among those documents that was developed for us as young people to make our demands on what should be done. And I'll tell you for a fact, some of our views were actually incorporated in the different manifestos of the different political parties. Myself, I will tell you for a fact, we interfaced with different political parties, FDC, NRM. We met the manifesto implementation of NRM led by Honorable Wills Bashasha. We met the manifesto team of the National Youth Platform led by Mary Sterumaga, and we were able to share our views as young people. And these are some of the things. When you check the manifesto of the NRM, you're going to see various things that we suggested as young people to make sure that these things can actually be done. And as the manifesto is being implemented, that's why one of the things was on how we can have the economic livelihoods of young people be uplifted. And that is why the NRM had to come up with issues like the parish development model. So when we come here, we do not just come to sit but those are some of the successes that we have had as the National Youth Parliament. And I believe working together, we shall continue to champion issues of the young people. For example, the issues that were raised and that are in the order paper, issues to do with the high commodity prices as of now. Then we have issues to do with the continuous strikes of the key service providers, health workers, because every other time we are having, sit-down strikes, industrial actions by the different trade unions. Right now, UNAT is saying, there is no way you can increase, salaries of science teachers, and then you leave us. Yes, that is a very big issue. And at the end of it all, we as the public, the young people, we are the ones that are being affected. So the moment we get to sit here, debate, and then make resolutions, then who knows? Yes, we might not get results in 1 year, in 6 months, but these are things that can actually, we can have changes in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and then, our young brothers and sisters can actually benefit. So those are some of the things that we have the successes that we have had as the National Youth Parliament. So from there we are going to go straight. I'm not going to waste any more time, unless if you have any question. I'm going to respond to 2 questions. If you have any question as far as the National Youth Parliament is concerned, and then we are going to go straight. We have our speaker elected who's going to lead us through, and then we have our motions debated. Anyone with a question? Yeah. Just to be clear, the resolutions from this House are presented in the National Youth Parliament, where we formulate a petition that is presented to the office of the Speaker and shared with the different entities. That is, for example, the Uganda Parliamentary Forum on Youth Affairs. The Uganda Parliamentary Forum on Youth Affairs brings together all the youth members of Parliament, all the youth representatives. Edison Rugumayo of the West, Honorable Fiona Nyamtoro from who is the National Female Youth Chairperson, the National Youth Female MP. Then we have Okot from the North. Then we have the one from the East. I've just forgotten the name. We have Honorable Kirabo Agnes from the Central. They come together under the Uganda Parliamentary Forum on Youth Affairs to ensure that all these issues are actually discussed, deliberated on, and they will go ahead to talk about these things in the House. I'm going to talk about something like Facebook. We are complaining about Facebook, young people benefiting from Facebook. Honorable Kirabo Agnes talked about this in the House, asking the government to actually lift the ban on Facebook such that young people can use Facebook that they're using for marketing and advertising. And I'm very sure you know of how many young people were using these platforms for digital business. So we do not just come here to, like for example, right now we are having things to do with labor externalization. It is also one of the things that we are championing. We're championing something to do with the labor externalization bill, But we were able to get regulations. We had a review in the regulations. Where we are now, where there has been suggestions of that. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is going to ensure that they allocate labor officers at every other country where our young people go to work, for example, the United Arab Emirates and Kuwait and all those countries. So we are surely getting successes. If there is no question, we are going to go straight. When Parliament is convening, when they're going to elect Speaker at Parliament, it is always a house that is chaired by the Chief Justice, where members can, but here we don't have a Chief Justice. We are going to allow members nominate whom the people they want to, they think can be able to lead us or preside over the House. After, we are going to have the Speaker take an oath after taking an oath, you're going to go straight to what is on the order paper, deliberate, have a resolutions, and then afterwards we shall have the House adjourned, and then other things shall follow. So what we are going to do right now, we are going to allow members to nominate their candidates whom they believe can actually preside over the House without any further ado. Yes, you stand up, say your name, the person you're nominating, the person that you nominate must be seconded, and then after all nominees have been made, we shall give them an opportunity to come and speak to us in 1 minute, why they would want to lead us, why they want to preside over the House. And then before they come to speak to us, if you think, of course the House has the liberty, one of us must be able to either move a motion and say that you are closing nominations, because me personally, I cannot say stop making nominations. I don't have those powers. You're the ones with the powers to ensure that you either close nominations or you nominate as many people as you can. Then after, we shall have a secret ballot, and then we proceed. Thank you. Your name, the person you're nominating. I beg your pardon, the name?
My name is Gloria Masika from Kasese District.
And whom are you nominating?
I stand to nominate Ms. Mikai Maureen Pinky to be our speaker for the first sitting of the Regional Youth Parliament.
Anyone seconding? Seconding? Thank you. Any other nomination? Nominations? Nominations? Banange. Nga mutido kulembeze.
Thank you so much. Good morning once again. My name is Dr. Kamini. I propose nominations closed.
Anyone seconding the closure of nominations? Are we sure that we are closing nominations? That is after when we have seconded the... Anyone seconding?
Good morning, members of the jury. I stand to...
Second. Are you seconding or you're nominating?
I stand to second my colleague.
A motion has been moved that we close the nominations. Those in favor and those in favor say yes, and those not in favor say no. They yes have it. One of the things, I can't believe that we can come here and then we have people who are unopposed. How? Yes, it is true. The nominations have been closed. I cannot allow any more nominations at this particular time, and I would like to take this opportunity to publicly declare Maureen Mikai as the Speaker of the Rwenzori Sub-Regional Youth Parliament. Without any further ado, we are going to give her a chance to speak to us as to why she is going to, what she's going to do and why she's in this position, and then thereafter she's going to take an oath.
I salute you all. I hope everyone is fine. I want to take this opportunity to first thank you for what you have done. I know it wasn't easy because I myself was not believing it, and still I'm not believing it. But I have to believe it because it's me talking now. The reason to why I came up to become the speaker, I wanted to become the voice of the voiceless, because this has been my dream since childhood, and I know the journey has just started. As far as youths are concerned, I want to be the spearhead of the youth. I want the youth to see or to know that we can really make it. We can really do it. And another thing, I want to show our elders that since they have been telling us that we are the leaders of tomorrow, I think tomorrow is now. And I think we can also show them what we can do, or we also want to show them that indeed we are the leaders, or we are the presidents of tomorrow, of which the tomorrow is today, and it has just started. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Now, given the fact that she has been able to tell us what she's going to do, why she was interested in the position, we're going to. Anyway, nonetheless, we are going to have her take an oath, even when she does not have a Bible. But I choose to believe that even when she does not have a Bible, she's meaning what she means the oath that she's going to take.
Absolutely.
Because personally, I think the Bible is just the spirit and the faith. Okay, thank you very much. Honorable Maureen, you're going to take your oath and then your hand up.
Okay. All right, here we go. I, Mikai Maureen Pinky, I swear in the name of the Almighty God that I at all times will well and truly serve the Republic of Uganda in the office of the Speaker of the Youth Parliament, and that I will support and uphold the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda as the law established, so help me God.
Thank you very much. You're not going to waste any more time. You're going to first have your seat. Yeah, the attire is ready. We are going to have the two clerks who are going to assist. Our beloved elected speaker who has had the opportunity to get to the position unopposed. So we're going to have our two clerks. We're going to just do like this. They're going to have their attires on. This she'll come, and then we're going to officially have our proceedings. Thank you. I would like to, I don't know who are willing to volunteer as a clerk. I just need one person. One person. And be reminded that a clerk does not participate in debate. Yes. Thank you. Sarah? Okay. Thank you.
Let's get because Sarah was already
Another one? She's a,
That's the role of the clerk.
yes.
Rapporteur.
Yes, that's right.
So she can also clap for him.
Yeah, she can do the same.
She can be the clerk.
Yeah, we can have one. It's okay. Okay. Are you ready?
Okay. Once again, protocols observed. Ladies and gentlemen, I salute you all. I want to thank you once again for giving me this chance to take you through this session, and I promise I will do the needful as far as this is concerned. And before we go far, I want to put rules and regulations of the debate or the session that we are going in. I think phones must be in silence. And another thing, moving up and down is also not allowed, because when you're moving, you're interrupting those people who are concentrating. So please mind your movements as you're getting out or as you're moving up and down. And another thing, I will be allowing those of order and those who are supplementing, then those of information. Then another thing, every speaker to articulate or to bring out his views or to talk about the motions. Thank you so much. And another thing, we shall be having 5 speakers per motion, and they'll be given, will be given 2 minutes.
And what is next on the order paper is motion. And motion number 1 will be moved by Masika Gloria.
Good morning, honorable members, those who are present and our online viewers. My name is Masika Gloria, and I work as a teleworker for Fairmont Hotel as an income auditor. I stand to move that we address the effects of high commodity prices on the youth in this honorable parliamentary sitting. I beg to move.
Anyone wants to second?
Thank you so much, the Speaker. My name is Kanyonyi Geoffrey. I second the motion.
Thank you, honorable members. I'm coming here to justify as to why I have moved the motion of discussing the price commodities, of the effects of high price commodities, especially to the youth. We see that commodity prices countrywide have been rising at a fast rate since January, forcing majority of Ugandans to adjust their budgets amidst the devastating impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. I think most of you will bear me witness. We see, like, from January, the prices of almost everything has gone so high. We can start with the fuel, the cooking oil. A bar of soap that used to cost 4,500 is now 7,500. In other supermarkets, you'll find it at 8,000. And you see that most of these commodities are affecting a common person like us, especially the youth, who are actually unemployed. So I think it is a matter of national importance that we should come up with resolutions and give government ideas on how they can regulate these prices of commodities. While representing the Consumer Price Index in Kampala on February 2018, UBOS officials observed that the rise in inflation was driven by the increase in prices of commodities under education services that increased by 9%, furnishing houses, equipment, and household consumables that went up to 9%. If you see, that percentage is really too high. I'll give an example of soap. Soap increased by 20%, from 4,500 to 7,500. That is a very huge price increase. The rise in prices of commodities have left many Ugandans, especially the youth, very devastated as they are finding it hard to afford essential commodities given that many were still dealing with effects of COVID-19 pandemic that led to the loss of jobs and livelihoods worsened. During the budget reading, the Minister of Finance noted that government will not engage in measures such as price controls that would lead to long-term and painful distortions in the economy. You can see recently on NBS, they put a heading, Ugandans are crying. They didn't say Ugandans, they said the Cassava Republic. Would you really wish our country, this beautiful Uganda, to be known as the Cassava Republic simply because of the statement that was made by the president, the head of state, saying if you cannot afford bread, you go and eat what? Cassava. So, basing on these ideas, I beg that we employ this motion. I beg to move, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Flora. As far as the resolution and other things are concerned, the debate is open to the Is there anyone who wishes to take us? Allowed.
Honorable Madam Speaker, I salute you and I agree to the opportunity given. The motion before the House is the effect of price fluctuation in the country. We saw the head of state, His Excellency Yoweri Museveni, telling Ugandans that if we can no longer afford bread, we should enjoy our cassava in peace. Not only him, we saw the Honorable Prime Minister telling us that if we can't afford buying soap, let us resort to using, is it palm leaves or pawpaw leaves? How absurd it is. Find a minister telling us to use pawpaw leaves. And the Minister of Finance, Matia Kasaija, tells Ugandans in the recent budget reading, he tells us that the government is not ready to take action in controlling these prices. How absurd it is. For instance, in countries like Kenya, we find that they have a regulatory body. If the price of petroleum is 4K per liter, each and every petrol station in the country has to sell according to the standard. But in Uganda, we don't know. Maybe if God knows, but we the citizens, we don't know what to do. Because if the government can't address these issues, what should be done? They are telling us that we were affected by the COVID-19. Despite COVID-19 era, yes, we have seen countries recovering from this scourge. We've seen countries like Kenya, they belong to the middle status countries, and yet we attained this of recent. It's the president, head of state, he told us that now Ugandans feel happy, we have attained the middle income. Middle income, yet we are suffering. But to him, it's a true statement, but to us, the Ugandans, it remains a fallacy. We can no longer achieve a middle class, yet prices they are not ready to control the price fluctuation, telling us to use, cassava leaves, such stuff. It's quite absurd. Members, what should be done by the government to address this issue? They are haunting us. We are quiet about the issue, and the more we keep quiet, the more we are giving the military junta an opportunity to stay. Actually, he's not doing this just because he loves Ugandans. No. It is a way of consolidating power. Make the citizens poor. If they can no longer afford anything, they will plead. We now become beggars. So, with due respect, honorable members, and Madam Speaker, I wish if the government can tell us that prices of fuel, they were caused by the Ukraine crisis. But oil comes from Libya. Oil comes from other countries, not only Ukraine and Russia stuff. So do you want to tell us that it is only in Uganda that we are experiencing this? Other countries are undergoing normal situations of life. So I pray if the government can reason with the citizens, they should have a diverse effect and make a way of rebutting this. If they can increase the government budget, if they can repeal the budget, well and good. I beg to submit. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. I want to supplement.
Continue.
Thank you so much, the Speaker. Thank you so much, the Speaker. Once again, my name is Geoffrey Kanyonyi, and I want to supplement the precurrent Speaker. Members of Parliament of the Rwenzori Regional Youth Parliament, I just want to tell you that I'm not surprised to see that Uganda is struggling with the prices of fuel. Because in 1970, that was during Amini's administration, he tried to construct reservoirs in this country. A case in a point, one of them was in Kasese, another one was in Jinja. But surprisingly, in this NRM government, we saw a minister presenting that those reservoirs should be sold off, as if they don't know the use of a reservoir. So to me, I would like to submit that let not the Ugandans suffer on the expenses of our leaders. Because Ugandans are suffering on the expense of our leaders. We are not supposed to suffer to reach a level where a president can resolve and say and come publicly and announce that Ugandans should resort back to taking cassava. A whole minister, you tell people to use pawpaw leaves to wash their clothing. Now when it comes to us, the youth, first of all, when President Museveni was talking of cassava, he did not give us land where to plant the cassava. We, the youth, we don't have land. If he could give us land and tell us to plant cassava, then we would say as if he's communicating. But I call upon the president that if he's meaning that Ugandans are going to survive on cassava, let him provide land where we are going to plant the cassava. If the Minister of Finance is talking about pawpaw, we want him to show us how many plantations of pawpaw does he have. Because you should not keep coming to the House of Parliament speaking things which are not applicable. How do you tell Ugandans to use pawpaw leaves to clean or to wash their clothing? So, members of Parliament, I would beg that our leaders should look at bringing back these reservoirs that Amin constructed in 1970 so that we should not suffer this expense of our leaders. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Kanyonyi. I want to pass this announcement. When you're coming here to speak, at least speak audibly, like when you're speaking your name, because the one who is noting needs your name down. Thank you so much. Let us have the next person. The grant.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Clerk, Madam, all the protocol observed. Good, I believe it's already afternoon. I am Rachel Akulo, tonight's speaker for this session as well for my submission. As far as our motion is concerned, that resolutions of parliaments to address the effects of high commodity price on youth. To be honest, whoever wants to shoot me with a gun, I'm ready. We youth, we are really suffering on this. First of all, we are unemployed, whereby the situation in our community right now is forcing us to do the actually unneedful things. Now, for instance, like me, I don't work, but you expect me to access other things like, let me say, food stuff, like the fuel and other things, I might have a second thought that maybe I try other way around to access it. Are you getting me? So to be honest, as a youth, we are affected. And it was so sad for the Minister of Finance to announce that there's nothing the government can do. To be honest, I think there is something behind that. As far as I'm concerned, the National Policy for the Disaster and Preparedness, they have a say in the Chapter 2 of their policy. It gives us the hint that whenever there is a disaster in the country or in a state, the stakeholders has got the chance to announce or to take a step to protect the citizens. So why would they do that? Why would they announce that? If they can't do it as a stakeholders, what do they expect us to do? Because these policies are very open. You can check it in Chapter 2. Please, to be honest, we are really affected on this. And as far as this price thing is concerned, we can see the statistic you can see the statistic that production rate in Uganda really increased from 230.2 point up to 238.20. This is too much. To be honest, this is too much. And where do they expect us, let me say now the citizen, not only the youth, the citizen, to afford that? Because right now we don't have money. Actually, our money has lost value, to be honest. Our money has lost value. Am I lying? No. It has lost value. Losing value, actually, it's even scarce. So where do they expect us to access this thing? So it is our leaders to do the needful for us. Here in protection of interest of the citizens or the consumers, it is them to bring us or to predict a price that is affordable for the consumers, the price that is below the equilibrium, that since our economy is now not so stable, I think we can bring up a price that even those ones in the villages can afford, because they think actually this situation is affecting those ones in the villages so much. There are those ones in the villages, because you cannot tell me that the cassava they're talking about, let me say I am a farmer, I produce cassava, yes. Will I carry my cassava to a shopkeeper and say that this is my cassava, give me sugar? It is not possible. So I would say that they have solutions to these problems. They cannot lie to us, trust me. They have solutions to this, because they're the ones who even adjust on them, and they're the ones to bring them back. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Richard. Let us have another person, the last person. Gender balance, please.
We have two men and we have
Yeah.
The Honorable Speaker, the clerk, and all protocols observed. My name is Kabo Evelyn. I come from Bundibujo. As far as our motion is concerned, for me, I'm not happy with this issue of saying that we youth, we should go and eat cassava. Cassava for what? Even that same person who is saying that we should eat cassava, my God, he can't even eat it. And they are the same people who have received was it 40 million? For them, they are, at their side, they are on their favor. For us, as local people, as youth, we are just there seated. And when you see this young girls gets pregnant, when this, you just see that this government, on the other side, they are the causes of that early pregnancies to some youth. Because now you are taking things at high price, every day, every time. And I wonder, you want the young girl to have all necessities from their parents. The parents, who is a farmer. And that cassava, you have not even, also the price of cassava has not increased. And you are increasing every day soap, sugar. Now, will you just be eating only that cassava? If you ask that Minister of Finance to wash his or her clothes in using that that popo. Can she really do that? You people, we are the youth, and we have to tell this world that for us as youth, we cannot just sit down and watch them doing what they are doing. They can't just tell us to be washing our clothes using popo. Now, why did they make soap when they knew that the clothes can be washed by using popo? So, ladies and gentlemen, I am urging you to stand as youth, to be on the same side and to advise these people, because they all know it very well that you cannot wash your clothes using popo. That's why they suggest to do the soap. So to me, I am not happy. And as they are saying that they are bringing about this parish development model, whatever. This parish development model, which they are assuming that everyone, it will make everyone be rich, okay? Now, you want me to become rich when the soap of 5,000 has reached to 7,000. Now, how will I be rich? Am I really going to be rich? No. They are the same people who has approved the budget, who are soon to approve the budget of 47 trillions, which is $12 billion, if I'm not mistaken. And out of that, you see 60% of that budget, it will be on the expenditure, they will be spent it on expenditure, whatever. Now, why are they not minding about us? You people, this is the right time we stand and tell those people to also see on the other side of the world. We as locals, we as the youth, we will not sit down and see them doing all those things. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Speaker, the clerk, and the honorable members. I'm called Musabe Joshua, Youth Councillor of Nyangabo. I have little submission to submit on this motion, especially when the President said that we should resort to cassava. First of all, I would say that the President didn't make enough research. First of all, what is the gestation period of cassava? Cassava takes 1 year to mature, meaning if you plant it now, we shall be able to harvest in 2023. So meaning in that period we shall not be eating. And another thing that what he forgot is most families in this Uganda, they are headed by children. And now it's very difficult for those people to afford the necessities. For example, you can see that the price of shop is at 7,000. In some shops it's at 8,000. Now, this will force more children to resort to child labor. So it didn't actually analyze the effects of these skyrocketing prices of essential commodities. So that's why I call upon all the youth to mount pressure on this government so that it can do the needful. They are telling you that we can't reduce. It's true. We paying tax. It's very important for the government. But on the other hand, let them first see. Let them first analyze. If we are paying tax, seriously, I'm not seeing there's little value for the tax that we're paying. Actually, the tax that we're paying, it is collected and then benefited by the few Ugandans. For example, like MPs, you just from nowhere you see 40 million on their account. So people, Ugandans, let's be serious. Let's mount pressure on these people so that they can do the needful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joshua. I'll call upon Honorable Gloria to come and make a prayer.
My name is Gloria once again. I would like to thank the honorable members that have spoken here, who are all in support that indeed government should come up with solutions for the increase of high-priced commodities in our country. The youth are really suffering in this nation. When you remember when the pandemic came, most of the people were laid off from their places of work. So they are unemployed, and from that point, when you are unemployed, especially I'll talk on the side of a girl. I'm a girl. We have our monthly menstrual periods. Every month you must pull out 3,500 to buy a pad. So you are unemployed, everything is expensive, you don't have anything to do. Where will you get the money, for instance, to keep you running for the entire year? And the president has said, eat cassava. My pre-current speaker was saying the gestation period of cassava is 1 year. So if we plant now until next year, that's when we shall be able to be having export for breakfast. Is it really possible? So my prayer is that the government should construct more oil reservoirs so that they can be able to, they should revamp them, those who are in existence, for instance, the one in Kasese, and construct more that can be able to keep or hold a capacity of very many liters that can take us through the period that we shall be having shortage of what? Of fuel. Another prayer is government should support the local farmers for large production. What do I mean by this? We have very small farmers who are planting their crops only for consumption. We have not yet gotten support by government to set up very large farms or supporting the farmers so that they can be able to produce more and be able to supply during the time of what? Of scarcity. I would suggest that the government should set up a price which is lower than the equilibrium price to enable the farmers to meet their cost of production. What do I mean by equilibrium price? They should say, for instance, if it is maize, they should say maize price should not go less than, let me say, 800. So whoever is producing maize in that season, they should be able to sell their maize, knowing the lowest price will be what? 800 if the worst comes to the worst. Government should set up farms for items like palm oil, which help in the production of, palm oil helps in the production of cooking oil, such products. So the government can help us set up such model farms to help us on increase in the production of such crops, so that when the crisis hits the country now, the other time he was saying it's due to the Russia and Ukraine war. If we are having our own farms for let me say sunflower, we would not be affected by the what? By the price of the reduction, by the increased price of the cooking oil in the country. My prayer is government should set price regulations for commodities and effectively implement them. You get me when I say that? They should set the what? They should put these regulations to govern the price. If they are saying fuel should not exceed 5,000, indeed let it be 5,000 on any gas pump that will go. You should find the price at 5,000. So not these things of going to one pump it is 6,000, another one it is 5,000. So let government come up with regularities to help that we cap down these price increases. Government should subsidize producers of essential products. For instance, soap. We have people who are coming up with small soap making, whatever, businesses. If government can subsidize the raw materials of these products, we will not be suffering right now as we are suffering, buying a bar of soap at how much? 7,500. Government should set up food banks in every parish. It's possible, like they're coming up with parish development models. If they can set a food bank in every parish, in case of scarcity, I know I can go to the food bank and be able to get at least a kilogram of posho. Right now, posho is at 3,000. It is the least food that we could buy at a very cheap price. The other time I was shocked to buy posho a kilo at 3,000. Now look at a youth who is unemployed, is struggling to find a job. and you tell them that the price of posho is 3,000. Really, is it fair? It's not fair. Lastly, the government should set up fair price shops. If they cannot set the food bank, let's have the fair price shops. We know that this shop belongs to the government, where I can go and buy product X at a very minimum price. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Gloria. As you take your seat, I'm glad to pronounce or tell you that this motion is closed from here.
We're now going to hear Resolution 2, which is going to be presented by Birungi Boniface.
Good afternoon, honorable members. I'm called Boniface Birungi. By God's grace, I'm the district youth chairperson Kabarole, and I'm the host. Chairperson. Thank you very much, Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move a motion for a resolution of Parliament to intervene in the continuous strikes of key service providers, like health workers and teachers, which affects service delivery. I beg to submit.
Let us have somebody else to second the motion.
The Speaker, the Clerk, and the entire House, by the names of Wambale Yasin Kanyama, Chairperson Youth Council, Kase District, I take this honor to second the motion of my fellow Chairperson, Birungi Boniface. Thank you very much. I beg to move.
Thank you so much. I declare the motion open. Sorry.
Honorable members, I believe this house is much aware of the causes of the strikes among civil servants. Let me take you through directly the effects of these strikes. The strikes have led hopelessness and pessimism to our learners and the country at large. We don't know what's there for tomorrow. We cannot even expect what will end the day today. So, imagine our learners had just come to schools out of COVID, which had robbed them 2 years. They had even lost hopes for school. Now strikes are coming up. Aren't we losing the hope that we are still having with our learners, our pupils, our students? That's a disservice. These strikes are also affecting the performance of our learners, honorable members. As a must, the government and teachers will come to consensus, but UNEB will not wait. UNEB will not change its calendar. And what will come in there, therefore, there will be no time to cover what was denied during the strike. When you go to medical workers, for medical strikes, lives have been lost. Lives are lost. Usually, government facilities admit number of patients. Let us go to art clinic. Let us go these accidental issues and other emergencies that come in, immunization and counseling. Every day in is increased loss of lives that are reported. The strikes of health workers and teachers affect, and whereby over 78% of us are attached at hearts directly. Come to our mothers as well. So, Madam Speaker, I submit for resolution. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Okay, let us have the Honorable behind Daphne. Honorable Daphne.
Good afternoon, honorable members. Madam Speaker, thank you for this opportunity. As far as the motion is concerned, you are all aware that the economy is not friendly to everyone. And when it comes to teachers, it is very worse, or it is worse. First and foremost, my name is Sadro Ngorokoro. When you are a parent and you have four children, you have to make sure that there is no one who is, among the children, there is no one who is favored than the other. I think you are aware of that. You will find that you have Mumbere and you have Kule. The other one being the elder, that one does not mean that is special from the one who is young. So, the differences in terms of payments for teachers, more especially, the science teachers and arts teachers is not good when it comes to the economy that we are in, because as you can see, all of them have the same problems. How do you begin saying that I should increase the salary of this one by 300% and you leave this one you increase this one at 0%? At least looking at the issue of science, and you say that science teachers are making a lot of innovations towards our health, it would be better at least for the government to say we are increasing the salaries, for example, of science teachers by something like 150%, and at least for arts teachers we are increasing it by 50% because for them there are many. At least there, the arts teachers would say the government is talking. But now saying, we are going to increase yours in the next financial year. Now what if you don't increase? Because you remember, all these words have been spoken in the previous years. We are going to increase in the next financial year. We are going to increase in the next financial year. So for me, I believe that if we want the country to move very well, it's better we focus on the development considering equality. It is not only about gender equality. Thank you, honorable members, and thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Let us have, as Honorable is coming, I would request the organizing committee at least to give these people something where they can write their names, because at least I will need to mention these people's names, because I'm tired of saying honorable, because all of them want to speak. What if all come because they're all honorables? Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker. Once again, my name is Kabo Evelyn, and I come from Bundibujo. As far as this issue of salary increasement to the science teachers is concerned, I just see a problem to our country. This NRM government, they are saying that they are fighting for corruption. The government that is fighting for corruption is the same government that is coming out and say that they are raising science teachers to 4 million and they leave other art teachers at 0% where they are. I am not seeing any good reason why they should consider these science teachers than arts teachers. Are they not going in the same class? Are they not teaching the same students? Okay, if they are considering their sciences better than these arts, then why did they introduce art subjects in schools? So for me, I disagree with this issue of saying that no science teachers should be paying if the government is serious on this issue. Honorable members, I'm telling you that even other science, like doctors, they will just say that for me, I am a doctor of the eyes. So also you increase my salary because without eye, you cannot see. So, and also that one for bones will say that no, but without bone in your body, you can't move. Also he will come out and say, I need my salary to be increased. So these art teachers did arts because they failed science, and science teachers did science because they failed art, but they are all doing the same job. So they should all be all given same salary. I disagree totally with the government. How can you pay this teacher, the same teacher that goes in class and teach the same students that I teach? You give him 4 million, and for me you give me 600,000 for what? So I truly support these teachers, and if I was among those teachers, I would have also done the same. Let them continue. Let the government see what the mistake it did. Let them correct themselves. So as youth, we cannot allow other arts teachers to be paid 600,000, yet others are getting 4 million. You see, the head teacher will be getting less than the teacher. Now, who is the boss to other, if I may ask? So, as far as we are concerned, youth, we should fight for those teachers, because we also, in those teachers, they are our fellow youth. They also there, and we can't just sit and see our fellow youths just get suffering over nothing. Yet the government is the same government who employed me as they employed the other one. Now, why did they tell us at the beginning that you should only be studying art subjects? You should only be studying science subjects. They introduced art subjects. They introduced the science subject. So they should also be paid the same. Nothing we can do about that if they want this country to be at the safe side, because our children are the ones who are suffering. Okay, but just give me like 1 minute. Okay, thank you. I just want to say that as government said that we should go in school, stay in school and complete school, they should also allow those teachers who are teaching those students they should give them the same salary, such that they can teach the children, and they stay in school, they complete school, and then they go to another class. Thank you so much. I remain Kabo Evelyn from Bundibujo.
Thank you, Honorable Evelyn. Let us have Honorable Daphne. Madam Speaker, the clerk plus the protocol. The second motion about the strikes of the health workers and teachers. My point of view is about teachers who are working in the same school, teaching the same students, but different subjects, but they want to neglect them by not increasing their salaries. Okay, they are increasing their salaries through for those people who are in the sector of sciences and arts, because at the end of the day, here me as a person, I'm a lawyer. Someone is a doctor. We are all going to be doing services in one way or the other. So paying differently because of not taking arts or sciences is just a discrimination. And yet in the Constitution of Uganda, Article 21 shows equality of freedom. That means everyone has the right of getting what they want, if at all it is right. Then on the healthy workers, we have here where they are striking because of different reasons. Here, I talk about the working hours. Some healthy workers work at night and again work in the morning. Okay, the daytime, they again do the night. First of all, they have families. They have children to take care of. Some people are married. They have to take care of their marriage. You know what comes up when you don't take care of your things. So by them not getting what they want in time, that means they will strike to get what they want. That means the government has to reduce on their working hours, because it is them that employed them. That means the services provided by them should be equated to the money they should be paid and everything they need.
I take this example of Itojo Hospital. Itojo Hospital is a good hospital, but their accommodation is very bad. So if at all you don't work on their accommodation, I don't think even nurses being rude is out of nowhere. It's how they are taken care of that shows how they will take care of us when we are sick. So in order, the government should provide good accommodation, should give their services what they've done. If at all you work day and night, your salary should be increased. If at all you work during the day, that's what you get. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Daphne. If at all we have debaters online, please feel free. You can raise your hand and then we give you a chance. Online participants, please. Okay, if there is no one, let us have, yes, Honorable Yasin.
The Speaker, the Clerk, and the entire House, once again by the names of Wambale Yasin Kanyama, Chairperson Youth Council, Kasese District. Madam Speaker, I had the interest in AE. When I saw the motions, I said, no, I must debate on these motions. I think when I talk that, you understand what I mean. I will supplement this motion. I can put it in a way like you have two wives at a home, and you say now you the first wife, from today will be eating meat daily. The second wife, you will be feeding on beans. So this is cassava. Now this is what now the government wants to put across. Members of the House, it looks queer and awkward. Who makes the doctor to reach that level of getting such a salary? Or who uplifts these science teachers? Me, the way I can phrase it, the salary, you cannot say that the science teachers should get much money than the art teachers, yet all are teachers. For example, recently the president raised an issue of saying doctors should have much salary. If you ask yourself, among the teachers and the doctors, who are those ones? Do teachers part-time? Why should teachers be given low salaries or be paid at a lower rate? Me, I cannot go with this kind of character. If they are all teachers, let there at least be also an increase for the art teacher's salary. I cannot support this kind of character. I can put it in a phrase like the Speaker of Parliament receiving a less salary compared to the members of Parliament. This one we cannot allow it. Why should they get money to give the opposition members of Parliament to buy them? Why should the government get money to misuse of buying the MPs, the speakers of Parliament, new vehicles to use, and yet there are other vehicles? Let this money come down, and at least they should top on the salaries of these art teachers, so that they should also be counted like human beings. Let they not disguise these art teachers. Why should the government of Uganda not respect these teachers? These teachers, one of the colleagues in this entire house talked of someone discussing an issue of saying, no, now you know what? For us, we as teachers, you should not increase our salary. We want you to increase our salary. Then the Parliament also seconds such a kind of an idea which is very fake. Let all of these teachers, if they are teachers, also increase their salaries, because they are human beings. How can a teacher earn much salary than even the head teacher who will respect the other? If you are in the house, let you respect each other.
Don't issue this out of, members of the House don't support this idea of saying that the art teacher should receive less salary compared to the science teachers. All are equal. Let the head teacher not be overlooked in schools, and I support it. Indeed, these teachers should not go back to schools and teach. Let them first increase on their salaries. Thank you very much. Madam Speaker, allow me to move the platform. Thank you very much. I remain Wambale Yasin.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let us have Honorable Shami.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm Shamira from Uganda Pentecostal University. I'm doing law. This motion won't be specifically on science teachers and, science, health workers and teachers. This is about public service. This is about public service. And I'm going to address about the teachers. I'm supporting them about their strike. Why? Teachers should go on strike to model the behaviors they want to instill in us, the students. This is how we shall learn to go against injustice in this Uganda. This has made it we make difficult decisions, and it will help us be treated with dignity. Like if you don't go against, if your role model doesn't go against injustice, we can't get dignity. He can't get dignity, or she. So it's better they go on strike so that we get dignity also as students, to be respected, to have morale, to have the urge to also go for education courses, like any other course as a teacher or a public service. This will lead to respect also. So despite of those actions, it will be, of course, affecting to us. So let me go on the side of us, the students. How will it affect us? First of all, on my finding, I will reduce that strikes actions affect students in performance of examinations. And this will lead to malpractice in exams. I'm discussing about, I hope everyone is getting me. Like I first tackled the effectiveness of them striking, but still that striking will lead us to. So another point that will let us, that is negative about it, they will destabilize the school's programs. For example, if a teacher goes in a sit-down strike, doesn't come to class, what does that mean? That means I'm going to get demoralized. That's why, and I debate that every kid of, any parent here, I think your kid remained at home that day. And that leads to demoralization. And my last remark is, that thing will reduce on the research and the innovation in these tertiary institutions. If they decrease my research and the more innovation, then what am I gaining because of their strike? Thank you so much. That was my point.
Allow it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, the Speaker and the Clerk to Parliament, ladies and gentlemen. Members in the August House, I would like to inform you that we need to remind the President that he's not a scientist. President Museveni is not a scientist. So if he thinks that scientists are most important, then it seems some of us we should either vacate or we stop teaching art subjects in Uganda. Because sincerely speaking, when he's giving scientists that appreciation, he's forgetting about the economists who are making the country to have all these budgets. So this is a play. He's playing around our minds in that we should not see exactly what he's aiming. I'm a political scientist. I do political talk shows. When you tell me to stop teaching arts and you concentrate on engineering, you are forgetting about administration. So he's just playing around our minds to see that Ugandans should forget about administration and they concentrate on innovation. How are we going to manage these innovations? So, Mr. President, I call upon you that we need to look into this issue. Otherwise, we are going to mess up with the education system of Uganda if we cannot also support the art subject teachers. This is what I propose, that if they cannot also appraise the arts teachers, let him give them an appreciation just once, not increasing the salary. If they did good during the COVID-19 whatever, then he can give them an appreciation just once as a gift. But if he fails and continues to say that he's going to raise the salary for science teachers, I appeal to him that Uganda is not built on science only. We also need economists, we also need historians, we also need politicians. Thank you so much.
We are gender balance. Let me have Honorable Gloria.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to supplement on the pre-current speaker who talked about the effects. You remember there is a time when the health workers striked in the country and the president made a statement, if you cannot work, I'm going to bring UPDF and the Chuba doctors, yes. So if the head of state could make such a statement, these were health workers who studied what? Sciences. Who studied sciences, he has failed to increase their salaries as doctors. So how are we sure that he is really going to increase the salaries of now the teachers themselves? First, you fail to increase those for those who studied sciences, and people have lost morale. Now you are talking of increasing the salaries. Isn't that a play game to the nation, really? It's unfair for us. You cannot pay the doctors. At the same time, you're saying I'm going to increase salaries of the science teachers. So in this country, it is meaning for him, he's ruling the nation as his home, maybe. He wakes up with something and comes and he implements it immediately. So we need to raise up as the youth and fight these injustices of salary inequalities. If I woke up one day, I studied my degree to become a teacher of history, it is the same way the other one studied his degree to do agriculture. So all of us spent money to go to school. They should put regularities on how they are going to distribute these salaries equally to all the teachers. Thank you. I beg to move.
Thank you, Honorable Gloria. Let us have Honorable Joshua as the last person. As Honorable Joshua is coming, anyone online who is ready to participate, please raise your hand.
Oh, thank you, the Right Honorable Speaker, Madam, for giving me this second opportunity. I have been following Mr. President. There's a time I was at Chambogo University. He was trying to discourage the students who are doing social sciences. For instance, development studies, social workers. So I want Mr. President to know that social workers or arts students are very vital in this economy. Like the previous speaker said that these arts students, they normally focus in administration. Some of them they are too creative, more than these science teachers, more than these scientists. Another thing, for instance, do science teachers go in different, are they living in different economy? Right now, you want to pay a science teacher 4 million, and you give an arts teacher like 400 or 600. Surely, will this arts teacher compete in the economy as in buying these commodities? So let Mr. President also wake up. Let his advisors also make some guide. Another thing, back to the strikes. It's true when these people are striking, they try to make advocacy. But on the other hand, it's affecting us. For instance, if the teachers strike, it will lead to early pregnancies. Remember, when these students go back home, they stay home, they are more exposed to risks. Remember, those sharpshooters are seriously targeting them. Another thing, it will lead to poor service delivery. For instance, when these medical workers strike, life was lost. So they should use proper measures of advocating for their rights. For instance, they should engage themselves in these unions, like trade unions. For example, you see UNATO is doing a very vital role for the teachers.
Information. Yeah, thank you very much. I would like to inform the current speaker that the health workers have a medical association called the Uganda Medical Association that does the same role as UNATO that its aim is to ensure that they bargain on behalf of the health workers in the country. So you saying that health workers do not have an association, I think you are, I would like to inform you that the health workers also have an association that is able to bargain on behalf of them. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, but I didn't say that the medical workers don't have a trade union. I gave an example of UNATO. Oh, thank you for the submission. Oh, my last recommendation would be let the government and the medical workers plus teachers handle this issue in a corporate way, in a legit way. At least the government should set minimum wage policy that every teacher should get this amount of money. Every health worker should get this amount of money. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Joshua. Anyone online? If there is no one online, let us have Honorable Birungi to give his prayers. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker, Madam, and honorable members. On a special note, I appreciate for the good submission and the good knowledge share about the motion. And I hope it has touched our hearts really. But as you are sitting here today, Madam Speaker, today it is the Africa Public Service Day. Today, the Uganda is commemorating. And let me hope by the end of the day, what we shall be seeing running the news and the media houses, that teachers have gone back to normal. But back to our recommendations. Allow me to share with you alternative recommendations as to our motion. Both government and the striking bodies should think of mediation. They should sit together and come to consensus for the good of our country and the schooling population where we fall. Recommendation number 2, I pray the government to humbly request the striking bodies to get back to work, but not arrogantly command them to return to work with threats of replacing them. Madam Speaker, my prayer to the government should strengthen patriotism studies amongst nationals so that they can see their profession as service, not business. Similarly, a patriotic citizen should consider a prevailing economic situation in a country before getting strike. You can see how the situation it is. For instance, the whole world is in economic crisis, and thus Uganda civil servants should have stopped until the economic sanity is restored. I pray, Madam Speaker, the government to start work-related incentive for civil servants, like free education to their children. We wish if our teachers were given free education for their students, and same applies to health workers. It would be better. Insurance policies, staff quotas, good staff quotas for all teachers. They wouldn't have gone to the strike. And maybe free education upgrade for our teachers and medical workers and other public servants. Those would help them to reduce their needs competition of that meager salary that they are earning. This would leave a civil servant with more disposable income in case the government is unable to undertake the due budget. If it has failed, let the government seek international intervention of other NGOs. But it can do it, giving incentives to teachers, giving them good incentives. Another prayer, Madam Speaker, to the government and the August House, the government recruiting more workers so that a civil servant load is reduced and it gets time to do other self-help projects to avoid over-reliance on the job. Because you find the owner having that focus on the job. So let the government employ more, and with the majority, as the youth, we get more jobs, as teachers are relieved of the burden they're having in the schools, so that they can also concentrate on other back home projects. It could be a very good forward for them to take up. Madam Speaker, finally, Parliament should enact a minimum wage law. The bit about this, Madam Speaker, no trade union would demand for a wage shove the minimum wage prescribed in the law. That would be better. Lastly, Madam Speaker, the government should stop discriminatory salary enhancement. This is because all was well until government increased salaries for the science teachers. That's how it rose up. Both government and private employers demand for credits both in English and mathematics. Imagine. And English falls in arts. To look discriminatory, where you say that let science teachers be prioritized with the high salaries. And yet when we are going for a job to apply, they say you must have passed English and mathematics. So, I then submit.
Thank you, Honorable Birunji. I close the motion.
We're going to hear the third motion, which will also be the last motion from Honorable Ngorokoro Sadro.
Okay, thank you, Madam Speaker, for this chance once again. My name is Sadro Ngorokoro. Good afternoon, members, once again. Yes. I'm moving the motion 3, which is urging government to intervene in the exploitative payments of the youth working on road construction by Chinese companies. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay, let us have the seconder. Let us have Honorable Husna to come and second the motion.
I all welcome you. Good afternoon again. And by the names of Muhindo Husna, I second the motion.
Thank you, Honorable Husna. I call upon Honorable Cedric to justify the motion. For online participants, please get ready.
Okay. Thank you once again, Madam Speaker. I think members, honorable members, you are aware that this Uganda, to move on, investors are very important. And we always have local and international investors, and majorly the international investors as Uganda, we majorly depend on Chinese. But as the motion is concerned, you are aware that Chinese have always violated the rights of their employees, basically the national employees. If you can remember very well, in 2017, over 400 local workers of a Chinese construction company, which is named the China Railway 7th Group. These were laid out because they were striking for sexual harassment. So you can imagine the boss is harassing the employees. So after striking, then they lay you down and they say for you, you are going against the principles and policies of the company, as if the company allows them to harass the employees. Then, when it comes to the Chinese companies employing local Ugandans, many local employees have ended up getting have ended up getting mental-related sicknesses as a result of the violations inflicted on them by the bosses. Because when it comes to these bosses, the Chinese, for them, they do sexual harassment to the employees forcefully, and they tell you to keep quiet because they are your bosses. They do beat the employees, as you have heard in the news and on social media. They do despise them with very bad words, because for me, I have ever witnessed one being despised. Someone is being called a cartoon. Your supervisor is calling you a dog. Your supervisor is calling you a baboon, maybe because you have done something small that he does not like. So that is a challenge. And then when it comes to the Chinese companies that are employing locals, you find that also the same motion I've been discussing about, still that problem comes in. You'll find that the Chinese employees who came with the company, for them they are being paid highly, and the Chinese and the local employees being employed by that same company are being paid less. For example, 2 days back I interacted with one of the lowest paid employee of a certain company which is working in Kasese municipality, constructing roads. The company is called China Railway 18th Group Bureau Company Limited. These ones who raise, I don't know whether we call them flags, those red flags and the green flags. I just asked the lady, now, how much do you earn a day? The lady told me that, you know what, I earn 5,000. So you can imagine, in the type of economy we are in currently, and you are paying someone 5,000, the person has come at 7, and this person is supposed to go back at 7 in the evening. So this person, you'll find that this youth maybe is having a wife at home, or is having some other dependents at home. They are waiting for the guardian has gone to work. So when she comes back with 5,000. This 5,000 is supposed to cater for all the expenses at home. So meaning that these people are exploiting our local young youth who are looking for employment. So that's the challenge that we are facing, and I believe when it comes to the government of Uganda, including everyone, we have to work hard to make sure that we solve this. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Cedric. I declare the motion open for debate. Those online, please get ready. If you are willing to participate, this is your time. They're there. Please raise up your hand so that we can see you. As you're doing that, let us have Honorable Shami.
Okay, thank you so much. I want to be clearly quoted because of my address to you. We all know that Chinese are the cheapest companies that can work for Uganda. We know it that all, and I want you to understand me very properly as I issue to you this address about Chinese. As I've said first, these people are the cheapest. We are talking of taxes being raised. If we like to keep our taxes at a low pace, we can't even accommodate Chinese coming to construct for us roads. That is the fact in life in Uganda. So this is the issue about Chinese companies. China has the largest manufacturing work within, it has employed almost 112 million workers in Uganda. For example, our first honorable was talking about unemployment. Isn't this employment, please? Just please second me, isn't this employment? China, again, has successfully developed digital infrastructures, particularly broadband and digital payment systems. Again, Chinese companies, all those firms, are only interested in dominating the market, but the reality is that they don't make profits out of these contracts. Because we know in Uganda which level of standard are we in. We are in the middle class. So making an American work for Uganda, it's really hard. So we should at least give them a percentage of them creating employments for us and other issues. About my last findings, in 2021, that is last year, 4 Chinese companies refunded back 26 billions, and that was meant for compensation of the workers. They gave it to the UNRA in Uganda. But tell me, okay, ask me what happened. This money was part of the 47 billions that were advanced to this UNRA. But this, I don't know, these people deposited them on their individual, they fixed them on their accounts, instead of bringing that money that was refunded to us to be used. I think this thing is about us Ugandans. It's we who corrupt ourselves. These people brought back the money, but we take it on them just because we are ignorant. We are not in the system as youths. That's why we are taking it to the Chinese companies as if they are enslaving us, yet it's not the right thing. Another thing, I have evidenced some videos of Ugandans also trying to beat up Chinese. You know, these people are not like us. We don't have the same morals. Someone can be like, you know how they abuse, they can demoralize you. But you getting a panga or anything like that can hurt that person who is international. It is not also good. Okay, with my last remark, if you talk of unemployment, that girl who was standing on the roadside getting 5K, you're talking of unemployment. You know 5K in this life a day, it is money. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. I would like to inform you that when you tell the August House that Chinese are doing good jobs, a good job to Uganda, it is a total lie. Because I will give you a vivid example of a road that starts from Kasese to Katunguru. It is not even 2 years old, but is cracking seriously. They are trying to fix and fix and fix, and it has failed. When I move along that road, I am very surprised to see that even Parliament has put committees on the road constructions for those very members of Parliament who come from that very area. But these members of Parliament are writing reports that those works are complete and they are okay. So you see that when we fail to appreciate, you see Ugandans, I look at the Parliament and the President, they are not appreciating that Ugandans, we have engineers. And yet we have paid school fees for these engineers who have studied, and some of them are working even in America. Hey, America is employing a Ugandan engineer, and Uganda is employing a Chinese who is going to destroy, who is actually doing a disservice to us. Why should Uganda employ people who are coming to take up our jobs when we are not employed? Members of Parliament, of the Youth Parliament, I would beg that we should take this issue very serious, because I've witnessed it with my eyes, and also I would beg that the Parliament of Uganda should not allow these foreigners to come and enslave us on our own land. Thank you.
Order. Let us have Honorable Brian Kiviri.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, plus the House at large. My name is Kiviri Brian, Vision International Actors. Reflecting to the motion, it's true. Ugandan youths are being mistreated in the view of being employed by Chinese companies working on our roads. But the main reason is these youths are randomly picked while unskilled and deployed on these roads to work without any knowledge of what they're going to do. Someone is given a flag to wave on vehicles, which job I think was for traffic officers. Yes. But you pick someone from the village, has never done anything like traffic rules, and give a flag to wave. He will wave it wrongly, and you will see serious messes on the road. And that's where the slaps comes in, the beatings, and vulgarism. And that reflects back to our government, who don't brief our Chinese investors.
Just know, we are waiting to see your hands, and we shall be happy seeing someone at least say a word. Hope you are following, because you might be here and you have just put the phones and then you're not near them. Please don't disappoint.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Clerk, and all the protocols observed. I am Rachel Akulo. As far as our motion is concerned, the third motion, from the previous speakers, I think I have realized that good work, the word good work has lost the meaning to me. If someone says that Chinese are doing good work in Uganda, I think it has lost, that's according, to be honest, I've just realized right now that the word good work has lost the meaning. To be honest, these people are exploiting our youth. Trust me. For instance, I have a friend, actually is a constructor, actually is a head to these other local people. When I asked him about this, he told me that, to be honest, I can't say anything because there's nothing people can do. As far as my boss is concerned, my boss also has got a share in something in Uganda, and I was like, a Chinese even holding a share in Ugandan activity. This is so bad. We are not in any good. To me, Chinese are not good. To me, they are not good. As we also, it was also once recorded by it was RDC of Kayunga, over Kayunga deputy RDC, that questioned the Chinese, and at some point stopped their work for some days because the workers were so much complaining that they have been mistreated, their lives has been at risk. To be honest, these Chinese, I wish they could just take them back. Yes. And I would pray that our government should bring us something to put us in use as youth. Let me say, like, they would just promote agriculture for us to do something profitable with our life, because I cannot go like, let me say, like, I'm working for the Chinese. I know I'm supposed to earn 200 or 300. Then at the end of the day, I'm not giving anything, or I'm even beaten on my service. Is that possible, really? It's very bad. Thank you very much. To me, they are not good.
Thank you, Honorable Rachel. Let us have Honorable Kakuru.
Well, thanks our Speaker, Madam Speaker, and the Clerk to Parliament. On the issue of Chinese, truly, who are these Chinese? Because we saw the recent penalty issue, that there is a black penalty behind a white penalty. Who are these Chinese? This is just, they are pretending to be Chinese, yet in actual sense, there is a black penalty actually behind these Chinese, if we can speak in real sense of humanity. Because, well, we all know that the Ugandan economy is based on grants and loans. True, it's a true story that we obtain most of the loans from China. But China gives Ugandan government loans with strings attached. It says, to sign this contract, we are building, let's say we are constructing this road from Kabalole to Mitiana, either. China government says, we are giving you 12 billion to construct the road, but we need 10 billion back to China. And our military junta will have to say, it's fine. Actually, it is free labor. We are offering free labor to the Chinese. We are not paid. If you presume 5K is enough, actually it was a disservice hearing a member of parliament telling us that 5K is enough. In this economy, it is a disservice. I can never kowtow to that. And of recent, we saw they are saying that they are enhancing the salaries of scientists. True, let them enhance the salaries of scientists. Maybe we can avoid the Chinese in the future. I now concur with the government, let them enhance the salaries of scientists. Because we have seen actually mining of oil in Hoima. It is done by the Hun Swan Manya Company Limited. It's a Chinese-based company, and we expect most of the resources to be taken back to China. So Ugandans, it's high time you realize that China is here to exploit Africans. It is here to make us poor. Because, more 2 minutes, Madam Speaker. 1. So, seconds. For instance, two granted, thanks. So, for instance, in South Africa, there was a scenario of the Guptas. If you remember the Guptas, they were used by former President Jacob Zuma to exploit the Africans. Because Africans, we have that content of white supremacy. We presume the whites are dominant over us. So these are the guys who are being used to exploit us. So it's high time as Africans we realize our stand and say the Chinese are evil. Thanks.
Thank you, Honorable Kakuru. Let us have Honorable Gloria. As Honorable Gloria comes, you have 1 minute, and then Honorable Evelyn, you also have 1 minute.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. My name is Gloria Masika again. Government to intervene in the exploitative payments of the youth working on road construction by Chinese companies. This motion, we all agree that they are really exploiting the what? The Ugandans. So we are here to find solutions or to argue the government on how they can do about it. You see, when these Chinese are given these contracts, there are agreements that they make. And when they make these agreements, I believe one of the items they include in the agreement is like corporate social responsibility. Do we all understand by corporate social responsibility? For instance, when we are giving them a contract to construct a road for us, they should give back something small to the what? To the community or the society. Are these Chinese implementing those responsibilities? How does that affect us with the youth? If, for instance, they have included, maybe, let me say, they will construct a pitch for the youth. Are they doing it? Who is responsible to caretake, to oversee what these Chinese are implementing that was agreed upon in the what? In the agreement. So it all comes back to us, the Ugandans, like the first speaker said, Shamira, that it is starting from us. We are not implementing. Thank you, Speaker.
Please, Honorable Evelyn, hurry up. Order in the room.
Thank you, Honorable Madam Speaker. Okay, thank you. Once again, my name is Kabo Evelyn, and I'm coming to urge the government that as they are saying that there is an employment opportunity to our country, Uganda, the only solution that we can do in solving some of these unemployment opportunities, this unemployment to the youth, is that as they are bringing in Chinese company, why can't we not bring in Chinese company to construct roads, but to bring them to our Uganda to teach people how to make roads, such that we can be making our own roads? Because I think if they are training us how to make roads, I think that one can help us. And another thing, let them sensitize the community, the local leaders, because you just find that you just see the Chinese coming in the community, starting working on roads without the local leaders idea. Why can't we first tell these Chinese to first meet the local leaders, to first sensitize the community about what they are going to do? And also government, as I am concluding, I am urging government that please, you should stop giving jobs to the Chinese, but you should tell those Chinese to come to train us, we Ugandans, how to make roads. That is better than them doing those roads. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Evelyn. Let us have Honorable Cedric to give to make the prayer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Okay, thank you. For me, my prayer is government should do a lot of due diligence before awarding the contracts to these Chinese companies. Because you'll find that a Chinese company is coming in but does not have a standard and clear HR policy which stipulates the rights of the employer and the rights of the employer. Secondly, in addition to that, you'll find that a Chinese company that is taking up the contract does not have a sexual exploitation abuse policy. So these ones should be in place, and the government should make sure that these ones are moving well with the labor laws of the country. Secondly, my second prayer is that Chinese companies should have refresher trainings on human rights organized and facilitated by the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Labor, Gender and Social Development and the Ministry of Trade. This will make them keep our working culture and labor laws on their fingertips. Because I believe some of them come when they don't know how our working culture in the country is. So they should always be reminded on how our labor laws are in the country. Thirdly, I pray that we the people together with our government should empower our own Ugandans to take up these road construction contracts so that we can reduce on foreign investors' reliance. We can over-rely on the foreign investors. So the government should help us so that we can empower our own financially. Because I believe we have the companies, we have the professionals, but we only lack the finance. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Cedric. Let me give this opportunity to the clerk to read to us the resolutions that have come out of us. Online friends, hope you're following us. I know we are together in the spirit, and I know you're following, and I know you have picked something. Let me hope you have just put the Zoom on and then you have just gone away. Let me hope you're near the phone and you're following. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, as per the sitting this afternoon, a couple of resolutions have been made regarding the motions that were passed by members of this House. And the following are some of the resolutions that were made by these members that are going to be read momentarily. 1. On Resolution 1, to address effects of high commodity prices on the youth, the following prayers were made. I know this is going to take a while because my diary goes left and right, so give me that chance. So, the first prayers that were made was that Honorable Gloria proposed to this House that we should have mechanisms that control prices. She referred to it as equilibrium prices, and she also recommended that price regulations are made and that they should be effectively implemented. She also suggested that producers of essential products like soap, maize, and the like should be subsidized so that we can get those commodities at a reduced and subsidized price by the government. And she also presented that we need fair price shops by the government where we can be able to access the most important commodities at reduced and subsidized prices. And that was as per motion 1. Motion 2, that was referring to a motion for resolution of Parliament to intervene in the continuous strikes of key service providers like health workers and teachers, which affect service delivery. The following prayers were made. It was suggested by the House that there should be the same salary for all teachers, considering that they provide the most essential services to the society. He also suggested that they should consider mediation between government and public providers like doctors and teachers who feel aggrieved by the limited pay. And he also suggested that government should consider humbly asking these service providers like teachers and doctors to go back to work, considering the nature of their services. He also asked citizens to be patriotic enough to understand the economic situation that is prevalent in these particular times and resume their work. He also suggested that there should be free education and insurance policies or an upgrade for education for these teachers so that there can be a reduction on the amount of pressure that is imposed on the meager salaries and pay that these key service providers are getting. Then he also suggested that we should reduce the workload of teachers by the government by recruiting more workers so that teachers have more time to go out to the communities and work, and also supplement the meager incomes and pay by the government. Lastly, the Speaker suggested that there should be a minimum wage law that talks about the amount beyond which or below which teachers or these key service providers can make so as to reduce the discrimination policies or the discriminatory policies between arts and science teachers. He also suggested, lastly, that government should stop discriminatory salary enhancement because that has a very big effect on the nature of service delivery and the amount of motivation for the workers in these particular sectors. Now, on the third and last, and also the very last motion, which was a motion for resolution of Parliament urging government to intervene in exploitative payments of the youth working in road construction by Chinese companies, having been agreed by the House that Chinese companies are exploitative, and not only that, but insulting and treat workers poorly, the following resolutions were made. 1, to implement HR policies where both the employer and the employees are aware of their rights and obligations, so as to do away with issues of harassment or demoralization or the poor pay that was asserted to be the issue in today's House. Secondly, it was also resolved that the government needs to inform these investors, particularly the Chinese, about the working culture and labor laws that is prevalent in Uganda as a country, and constantly remind them whenever they go against this code of conduct. And the third and last bit was to empower Ugandans to take on these contracts so that we can reduce the reliance we have on foreign investors, particularly the Chinese in this case. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Clerk. I think everyone has taken a point from here, and I know those people who sent us, they are really proud of us. They sent us for a reason, and I think we have done the needful. Thank you so much for whoever has or have put in the effort of giving the view and showing Uganda where we are going and showing Uganda what we really need as youth. And thereafter, we are going to put this into action. We should not be only barking dogs that do not bite. What I know this generation is a barking dog that bites. Let them say, be aware of a dog that really bites, not this dog that will biting that is going behind. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. I pronounce this meeting or debate adjourned. Thank you.